ఏం కనబడట్లేదు నంబర్లు నంబర్లు కూడా రావా నంబర్స్ Good morning, students. Today's chapter is blood stains. Andra bagunnara? I hope all are you safe and hoping everybody is safe. Today's chapter is blood stains. That means not only blood stains but also the stains of body fluids like semen, saliva, vaginal secretions, feces, urine, all those which are used in legal procedure as physical evidence. We are very well known about the medical evidence in chapter legal procedure. What is medical evidence? You are well known because the legal procedure chapter was completed. Any documents, all statements which court admits by the witness or the court requires, which are produced by the witness or the evidences. Those can be exhibits like some documents, certificates, medical legal certificates. All those are the evidences, medical evidences. What are those? Those medical evidences are divided into so many types, like documentary evidence, oral evidence, like that. Documentary evidence or medical certificates. You all know. I need not tell all this, but this is evidence. These documents are used as physical evidence. This physical evidence is very, very important to produce before the court of law. This trace evidence and physical evidence is very decisive factor in determining the guilty or innocent person. In a murder case or a rape case, any other criminal offences, this physical evidence, if the investigating officer collect this, preserve this physical evidence very carefully and produce before the court of law, which produces or which determines whether the person is guilty of the incident or whether he is innocent. And also this physical evidence was very important to link between the suspect of the crime. So these blood stains or any other stains remains are found at the crime scene. If those investigating officer collect and preserve and produce in the court of law are very, very useful to determine the accused person or the suspect. If you detect the instrument, this instrument and blood stain can be linked between the suspect and the accused person. So how to collect the blood stains? So among these physical evidence, blood stains are very, very important, and these blood stains can be interpreted and searching for blood stains at the crime scene, and these blood stains can be interpreted with the some tests, and these by interpretation of these blood stains you can determine the accused. So how to collect these blood stains? You can use a clean piece of white paper or cloth, gauze or cotton swab can be used as a used to collect the blood stains or another stain. If the object is porous, like the chair, if it is porous, the blood stains are found on the chair. So unstained portion of that particle also collected. And if it is non-porous, like that metallic blood stain is found on the metallic object or any other wooden object, the blood stains can be collected by scraping and placed in a small glass containers. Like that, the stains on a cloth can be collected by scraping of the cloth, or you can cut the staining piece of the cloth material and it should be preserved. The blood is in liquid state, you can collect, even though in a liquid state also the blood should be collected by pipetting it and placed in a bottle and refrigerated. After collecting the blood stains, these blood stains will be can be dissolved in some solvents. Otherwise, the blood stain may be in a clot-like position or in a dried position, like that. The blood stain should be in a dried condition, in room temperature. It should not be heat or should not be any chemical, should not be used any chemical to dry it, because its integrity or its specificity can be lost. So, the blood stain can be dried at room temperature only. If it is moist or damp places, it should be dried, because the putrefaction may develops, and this putrefied blood stain will not be used for detecting the suspects. So this dried blood stain should be solved in some solvents. Those solvents are 10% solution of potassium cyanide used as a solvent, and 10% solution of glycerin water, still water, can be used as a solvent, and a weak solution of ammonia or saline can be used as a solvent. Preservation, how to preserve the blood stains? The blood stains can be allowed to dry. I told you already, all these things, polythene bags and airtight containers should not be used. And each garment, if you collect the blood stain on the garment, each garment should be wrapped separately, and the both garments should not touch each other. So each garment which the blood stain contains should be wrapped separately, and clean paper should be kept in between the garments. So the above material, all the blood stains should be sent to forensic science laboratory for chemical analysis. So these blood stains, mainly some stains looks like blood stains. Those are rust stains. That means in an iron particle, iron knife, the rust stains also resembles as blood stain, but it is not actually, it is not blood stain. It can be the rust stain can be, that means ferrous oxide can be soluble in dilute hydrochloric acid. Tests for iron should be positive for the rust stains. To conduct these tests, you can be excluded the rust stain from the blood stain. Synthetic stains also can be looks like resembles blood stains. These can be excluded by adding the hydrochloric acid. And this nitric acid causes xanthopoietic reaction and forms yellowish discoloration. That in this procedure, you can exclude the synthetic. Like that, so many stains or resembles the blood stains. Mineral stains like iron, red, and red sulfide, mercury also resembles the blood stains. Vegetable stains, certain fruits, mulberry, gooseberry, and all those resembles the blood stains, and also some tobacco, chewing tobacco after the palm. So if you chewing the palm, then the liquid also resembles the blood stain, and also tobacco resembles, and also henna also resembles blood stain. All those can be excluded from blood stains. Other stains, grease, resin, or resembles blood stains, but these are negative. Test for blood, if you conduct test for blood, those are negative. Stains on clothing. So if you goes to the crime scene and collect the cloth or any other material which the blood stain is present, if any other material, then the type and the color and the consistency should be noted. And if any tears in the cloth, I means it means that blood stain containing cloth. The cloth, whether it is wet condition or dry condition, should be noted, and this cloth should be identified by initialing it, and you should sign on it, and there will be a date and month, year should be mentioned on the blood sample collected. So size, shape, and direction of the blood stains. Both the outer and the inner surface of the garments should be examined for the detection of for the preservation of the blood stains, you should very clearly note the direction, size, shape of the blood stain regarding the which is found, blood stains which are found on the garments. So the outer and inner surface of the garment should be examined, and the position of the stain on the garment should be examined. They also be described in relation to the pockets, buttons, and upward, below, downwards, like that. On the collar, the blood stain is on the collar, blood stain is on the hands, blood stain is beside the pocket, like that. You should describe the position of the blood stain, and the size and shape of the blood stain also you should note. The duty of the doctor while collecting these blood stains. So next, all these stains should be collected. Stains are resistant to wash by water. Blood stains are resistant. If you wash the cloth, it is the blood stain left a red patch on the cloth. Invisible blood stains can be detected on the cloth by spraying the lumina. So examination of blood stains. How to examine the blood stains? General examination. Stains found at the crime scene. The medical officer or the concerned medical officer, when to examine the blood stain, should visit the crime scene, and you should collect the blood stain. So these blood stains, interpretation of blood stains and searching for the blood stains at crime scene are very, very important. That means if the accused or victim may left the heel prints or any other fingerprints of the blood stains. So the distribution or the amount of the blood present on the crime scene should be noted. If you found blood on a certain place of the crime scene, but the incident of the crime should not be at that place, because the moment of the person after injured can move from one place to another place. So the blood, the trace of blood will be seen from the actual place of injury occurred, and the person moves. So if the person found in a pool of blood, then the person after injury got unconsciousness and he may fall down and die. So if the person, if the trace of blood seen, TRAIL, trace of blood, that means streaks of blood, lines of blood, then the person after injury moved to some place and fallen down. So like that, you should examine the movement and the direction of the blood. If the victim after injury fallen onto a ground, window door, or fallen on a door, and he may passes from below upwards, then the blood may direct from below upwards. If we fall from upwards to downwards, the direction of the blood stain will be from above to downwards. Like that, the handle of the doors, handle of the bars of the windows can be observed to observe whether the presence of and the direction of the blood stains. So at the crime scene, you should also examine the direction and fall of the blood stains. What is the direction and fall of the blood stains? If the person, if the blood falls a little from little height, that means 1.5 meters, then it will be a spherical shape. That means the blood from the victim is a spherical or round shape. If it is more than 1.5 meters or up to 3 meters, the oval shape or the circular shape of the blood from the victim maybe shows a ragged margin. And if the height is increased, that means it is above 3 meters, that means 5 meters, the edges may be longer. So like that, the shapes of the blood depends on the height where it is fallen from the body. So the drops, the shape will be altered. The shape of the blood spots will be altered according to the height of the height of the individual and height of the blood touches the ground. Drops, smears, splashes, and spurts. If artery is involved during injury, the spurting of the blood will be seen. Trails and pool of the blood. So much blood is found lying in the rakta madugulo padunnadu, body padundi. This is a body found in the pool of blood. So more the injury depends on the injury. The drops or smears, splashes, spurts, trails, and pools will be found at the crime scene. So this is the observation. This should be observed by the medical officer, investigating the medical officer. The medical officer's role is very, very important during the collection of the blood stains. So next, after examining this crime scene, whether which part of the body from the stain is derived. So many parts. If it is from nasal bleed, or it is from hemoptysis bleed, or it is from menstrual bleed, or it may be vomitous bleed, like that. So if the menstrual bleed stain, if the bleed from the menstrual period, then the female garments and diapers should be examined, and the menstrual blood is different from the actual bleeding of the vessels and the arteries. This menstrual bleeds differs from bleed by presence of epithelial cells, vaginal epithelial cells, and endometrial cells, and the reaction is acidic. If a microscopic examination conducted on the menstrual flow, LD4, LDH4, and LDH5 enzymes are more present. And blood from nose, that means bleeding from epistaxis. The bleed from epistaxis, air from the nose, and the nasal mucosal cells may be present on the blood. If blood is vomited blood, the blood color is chocolate color. Vomited by hematemesis. The blood results from hematemesis. It is chocolate color and it is in acidic nature. If it is hemoptysis, the blood is bright red color and it is frothy. Blood due to rape shows semen and pubic hair. Blood stains from boils and sores shows a smeared appearance and contains pus and bacteria. And the age of the blood stains. How to find out the age? And when the accident or when the injury occurred, like that, the age of the blood stain can be determined by examining the clots or smears or splashes. The fresh stains are bright red, which gradually changes to reddish brown in 24 hours, and then brown within few hours or black within few days. On metallic articles, they looks like the blood stains, the blood spots looks like shiny spots, and they leave the fissures and cracks. A drop of blood dries in normal atmospheric conditions. The normal atmospheric condition, the blood dries in an hour or 2 hours. Blood in pools, that means more blood, pool of blood dries 12 to 36 hours. This drying of the blood depends on the size of the depth of the pool. Arterial blood is bright red color and the venous is dark red. Fresh blood dissolves more easily. Solubility of the blood depends mainly on the age and type of the material which the stain is formed. The next, sex and age of the person. You can also determine the sex of the and the age of the person by examining the blood stains. Sex can be determined from the presence of sex chromatin in the leukocytes, and the presence of fetal hemoglobin indicates the blood. The stain is from child or the fetus. I told you in the infant deaths chapter, the fetal hemoglobin is 90%, and it is produced in the fetus 90%, and it is reduced to 7 to 8% at the age of 3 to 4 months. Do you remember or not? I told you in the infant deaths chapter. Whether the blood derived from after the death of the person or before dying the person. If the blood spurts before dying the person, the blood is blood is like scales after drying due to presence of fibrin. After death, the blood changes into powder because of no fibrin. What is the source of blood? Source of blood, if the blood stain present inside the garment, the blood stain should be more likely to be the of the victim. If it is outside the garment, it may be the either victim or accused. Like that, you can examine the blood stains. And what are the tests conducted? All this is general examination, and how to determine whether the blood is whether the stain is blood or not. There are some chemical tests. Those chemical tests are number one is Benjamin test. These tests are very, very important. These come as short notes, 4 marks or 2 marks question in your examination. Very, very important. These chemical tests depends on the presence of an enzyme, peroxidase, in the blood stains. And this peroxidase enzyme, with the help of hydrogen peroxide, when combined with this blood, formed a colored compounds. So under this chemical test, there are 2 tests. One, Benjamin test. The principle behind this is presence of a peroxidase enzyme. With the help of hydrogen peroxide, it combines with this stained blood particle. It forms a colored compound. This is the principle. So Benjamin test. Somewhere containing the stained fabric is placed in a porcelain tile and add a drop of saturated solution of benzidine in glacial acetic acid and then a drop of 10 volumes of hydrogen peroxide. Then if the stained material contains blood, it produces dark blue color. If the dark blue color produced by adding this stained material, then the stain is blood. Number second chemical test is phenolphthalein test or Casimir test. These tests are very, very important. So a solution extracted from the stain, add 10 to 20 drops of phenolphthalein reagent, and then 1 to 2 drops of 10 volumes of hydrogen peroxide. With the help of hydrogen peroxide only, this enzyme peroxidase will form a colored compounds. So 10 volumes of hydrogen peroxide and phenolphthalein reagent. Phenolphthalein reagent, composition of the phenolphthalein reagent is 2 grams phenolphthalein plus sodium hydroxide 20 grams and zinc plus distilled water 100 ml. This is the composition of the phenolphthalein reagent. So if you combine these on a porcelain tile, then the blood is, if the stain contains blood, it forms a pink or purple color compound immediately. This is phenolphthalein test or Casimir test. This is the Casimir test. Solution of phenolphthalein, this is a pink or purple color compound is formed. Oxidation of the enzyme. Oxidation by this enzyme peroxidase. So number 1 is chemical test, number 1 is Benjamin test, and number 2 is phenolphthalein test. Phenolphthalein test is otherwise known as Casimir test. Then other tests are microchemical tests, microscopic examination. Microscopic examination of the blood stains. Presence of red blood cells is the definite sign of it is whether the blood is present or not. A piece of stained material is soaked in 2 drops of Weber solution for an half an hour. Microscopic exam. How to conduct the microscopic examination? So a piece of stained material is soaked in 2 drops of Weber solution for an half an hour. So what is the composition of Weber solution? Is sodium chloride 2 grams, mercury chloride half gram in distilled water 100 ml. It is teased with needles and examined under high power microscope. RBC can be identified by their shape. What is the shape of the RBC? You are well known: circular, biconcave, and non-nucleated. In all mammals, the RBC are like this, except camels. In camels, they are oval, biconvex, and non-nucleated. In birds, fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, they are oval, biconvex, and nucleated. Like this, the presence of red blood cells is the definite sign, and by examining the microscope, we can detect the whether the stain is blood or not. Next is microchemical tests for blood stains. Microchemical tests for determining the presence of blood stains. It is based on the property of heme, part of hemoglobin, to form characteristic colored crystals with certain reagents. The principle behind these microchemical tests or tests is, it is based on the property of heme, part of hemoglobin, iron component of hemoglobin, to form characteristic colored compounds, colored crystals with certain reagents. Under these microchemical tests, there are two tests. Heme crystal test. This is known as Teichmann's test. A small crystal of sodium chloride and 2 to 3 drops of glacial acetic acid are placed on a piece of suspected stain on a glass slide. Are you understanding, children? A small crystal of sodium chloride and 2 to 3 drops of glacial acetic acid are placed on a piece of suspected stain on a glass slide, and the cover slip is placed, and the acid is evaporated by a small flame. That means glacial acetic acid should be evaporated by heating the glass slide with a very mild flame. It is examined under microscope. Then a faint yellowish red to brownish black rhombic crystals of heme are found. Faint yellowish red to brownish black rhombic crystals. These crystals can be as single or clustered. This is the heme crystal test or Teichmann test. This is the yellowish red rhombic crystals, brownish black rhombic crystals. Are you seeing it is visible or not? I think it is visible. So hemochromogen crystal test, Takayama test. This is otherwise known as Takayama test. This test is how to conduct this test. Place a piece of suspected material, that means the material which contains the blood stain that you collected or the medical examiner collected on a glass slide, and add 2 to 3 drops of Takayama reagent and cover with a cover slip. Pink feathery crystals of hemochromogen or reduced alkaline hematine arranged in clusters or sheaves appear in 1 to 6 minutes. What is the composition of the Takayama reagent? Takayama reagent is sodium hydroxide, pyridine and glucose. Sodium hydroxide, pyridine and glucose is the composition of Takayama reagent. Place a piece of suspected material on a glass slide and add 2 to 3 drops of Takayama reagent and cover with a cover slip. Pink feathery crystals of hemochromogen or reduced alkaline hematine arranged in clusters, sheaves, etc. appear in 1 to 6 minutes. This is Takayama test. This is the pink feathery crystals of hemochromogen. Hemochromogen test or Takayama test, heme crystal test or Teichmann test. These two are microchemical tests to determine whether the stain is blood or not. So luminal test also should be conducted. The most sensitive presumptive blood test can detect blood stains dilute up to 3 lakhs times. Alkaline solution containing luminol and hydrogen peroxide is sprayed onto area. If blood is present, it will glow. I told you invisible stains can also be seen by spraying this luminol. This is the luminol test. If a blood is found on this sink or wash basin, then it is not. If it is not visible, if you spray the luminol, it will be seen as a glistening or luminescence. The blood will be luminescence like that. This is also gel diffusion test. These are all not much important. Next tests are spectroscopic examination of blood stains. What is this? It is the most delicate and relevant test for detecting the old and recent blood stains. Less than 0.1 milligram of stain is sufficient. The blood stain is dissolved in water, normal saline or dilute ammonia or weak ammonia solution and placed in a small glass test tube, which is then kept between the spectroscope and a source of light. This test tube should be placed in a source of light and a spectroscope. The extract of the blood should be very dilute and clear. If it is not clear or it is in turbid color, it should be centrifuged and placed in test tube and placed in between the source of light and the spectroscope. The principle is the solution of the blood has the property of absorbing some rays from the spectrum and produce characteristic dark absorption bands, which vary with the type of the blood pigment present. So, if you place the test tube between the spectroscope and the source of light, the blood absorbs certain rays and forms a absorption bands. These absorption bands depends on the presence of the blood pigment present in the blood. Spectra of blood, you know all the spectrum, Vibgea, red, orange, green, yellow. This is the spectrum colors. If the Hb, if the hemoglobin contains oxyhemoglobin, the dark bands are present between the D and E, and reduced hemoglobin between D and E, and carboxyhemoglobin similar to above. That means D and E, and methemoglobin between C and E, like that. Acid hematine, alkaline hematine, hemochromogen, acid hematoporphyrin, alkaline hematoporphyrin. These are the blood pigments. These absorb and produce dark absorption bands between these bands. So this is the spectroscopic examination to determine the suspected material is containing blood stain or not. Serological examination. What is forensic serology? Forensic serology is examination and analysis of variety of blood and other fluids like seminal fluid, saliva, and all body fluids involve forensic serology. So, what are the methods of serological examination of blood stains? Those are immunological methods or isoenzyme methods. What are the immunological methods? These immunological methods are very, very important. Precipitin test will come as essay or short notes. This precipitin test is very, very important on behalf of your theoretical examination. So, what is the principle behind this precipitin test? The serum of the human blood contains some proteins. These proteins in a colloidal suspension, and this human serum, when injected into the animal, this animal immunized against these proteins and produced antibodies. And this serum of the animal became anti-serum. And if this anti-serum collected by killing this animal, and this anti-serum is collected, and this anti-serum comes in contact with the serum of the human blood, and there is a precipitate will develops. This is principle behind the precipitin test. The antibodies causing this reaction are called precipitins, and the animal anti-serum is known as anti-human serum. So, technique of the precipitin test. This is the test to determine the species of blood. The precipitin, an antibody that reacts with the corresponding antigen to form a precipitate, and animal blood is injected. I told you all this technique. Extract of the stained material is prepared by soaking it in normal saline. So, the blood extract should be collected in a test tube. The extract is centrifuged. It is diluted to 1:100 with normal saline, and 2 drops of undiluted anti-serum are gently added to the this serum with a slanting position, holding the test tube in a slanting position, and the anti-serum slowly settles down, and at the bottom and at the junction of two fluids there is a white ring. There is a white ring forms between the anti-serum and the serum of the human. These white ring is having well-defined borders. If the presence of white ring develops between these two serums, it is positive reaction. It is a qualitative test. This is the white ring. You can easily differentiate the serum, anti-serum, and this is the white ring with the definite borders, upper and lower border. This is the qualitative test. The positive test, the presence of blood, and if it is negative, it is definitely rules out the uh, absence of the blood. Gel diffusion test, other tests of spectroscopic examination are gel diffusion test, double diffusion agar gel, precipitation, electrophoresis, and latex test. All those are the tests. You can learn the names. It's enough. Next methods of micro serological examination is, one is immunological tests. Immunological tests are precipitin test and gel diffusion test, anti-globulin consumption test, and double diffusion in agar gel, precipitation, electrophoresis, and latex test. Next is isoenzyme methods. These are based on the existence of enzymes in the blood in multiple molecular forms known as isoenzymes. These enzymes are found in a multiple molecular forms in a blood. These are known as isoenzymes. These are ABO, that means blood groups, ABO blood groups, MNO, MN system, RH, and lipoprotein system. Like that, so many blood groups are present. These blood groups can be determined by latest test method and absorption elution technique, absorption inhibition technique, and latex method and enzymological methods. Blood groups can be determined by these 5 methods. Number 1 is latest test method, absorption elution technique, absorption inhibition technique, and latex method and enzymological methods. These blood groups, blood cells contains red cell antigens and agglutinogens and agglutinins. You are very familiar with blood groups or red blood cells or blood cells antigens and red cell antigens, white cell antigens, and agglutinins and agglutinogens. You are very familiar in physiology. I need not explain all these about agglutinogens and agglutinins, but I will tell in a brief. Agglutinogens or the red cell antigens, which are found on the outer envelope of the red cells, and these are called agglutinogens or antigens or isoagglutinins, and agglutinins are present after later life of the fetal life, and these agglutinins are found in the placenta, and these produce agglutinins or antibodies, anti-agglutinins. These agglutinogens present early in the fetal life. Agglutinins are present later half of the fetal life. Blood groups. Blood group antigen is attached to the cell membrane, and it is present early in the fetal life. These blood, Landsteiner 1930 described these blood groups, and the presence of blood group substances is shown by clumping or agglutination of the antibodies with antiserum, antigens with antiserum. This agglutination by blood grouping system is found by Landsteiner in 1930. These red cell antigens are ABO groups. Every human blood contains A group, B group, O group, and AB group. So these blood groups can be determined from the blood stains. Tests for determining the blood groups. There are 2 types of tests. One is tube method and another is style method. Tube method, you take the blood group, blood stain, and add antiserum, particular antiserum, and the blood clumps, agglutination develops, then it is certain blood group, whether it is A or B. Tile method also, you have to take the blood strain, soaked in water or normal serum, and place in a tile, and then you add particular anti-serum, and then you tease with the needle, and with the clumping forms, it is determined as certain blood group. You know all these in your physiology. So like that, the blood groups can be tested. The blood groups also can be tested by absorption inhibition method, mixed agglutination test, and absorption elution technique. The ABO systems can be tested by these methods, and also there are MN system. Two further, these are also agglutinogens. These are also found in independent existence in the red blood cells, and these agglutinogens are formed, inherited as Mendelian dominant, and these agglutinogens are M, N, and Mn. The anti-M and anti-N agglutinogens are developed in human sera, but they are rarely present in human sera. So other system is P system. P factor is also present in about 75% of persons, but this P antiserum is rare. The RH system is very familiar to us. It is rhesus factor, detected originally by the use of serum from the rabbit, which has been immunized against the red blood cells of the rhesus monkey. So it is known as RH factor. The RH factor is found almost all the Indians, and if the RH factor present, it is RH positive. It is absent, it is RH negative. These can be tested by taking the blood stain material and doing the grouping tests. Any of the grouping tests, tile method, tube method, or absorption inhibition test, or mixed agglutination test. Like those tests, if you conduct those tests, the MN system or P system and any other RH system can be calculated. The group specificity of the red blood cells maintains very indefinitely, and MN system and RH factors lose their specificity within 3 to 5 weeks. Most of the enzymes in the stains lose their specificity within 3 to 5 weeks. So, and also among in addition to the ABO, MN, P, and RH factors, there are also group specific substances. Certain specific substances are present in the certain group of blood. So, what are those group specific? The agglutinogens of the ABO system are also present in the body fluids, tissue fluids, and tissues. These agglutinogens appear in lipoidal form and also in water soluble form. In about 80% of the people, they appear in a water soluble form. These group specific substances are lipoidal form or water soluble form. Most of the 80% is water soluble form, and these water soluble form are known as secretors, and lipoidal form are called as non-secretors. Secretors or non-secretors. Lipoidal form of group specific substances are called as non-secretors, and the water soluble form of group specific substances are known as secretors. These secretors contains H antigen, and these are very important to determine whether the blood is which particular group of blood contains the specific substances. The agglutinins, these individuals with genotype capital S and small e, capital S and small e, and capital S and small e, and small s and small e are secretors. S E, S E, S E, S E or secretors, and small sc and small sc are not secretors. Secretors process, I told you, H antigen. And so the agglutinins A and B are also present in the body fluids. M and N agglutinins are widely distributed in the body tissues in a relatively water soluble form. The group specific substances in dried stains can be identified by absorption technique, and the RH antigens are widely distributed in the body tissues but are not found in the body fluids except amniotic fluid. RH agglutinogens are found all the body fluids but are not found in RH factor are widely distributed in body tissues but are not found in the body fluids. Remember these points. RH factor is found in the tissues but absent in the body fluids except on amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid contains Rh factor. MN system found in our body tissues. The agglutinins A and B are found in all body fluids. So these are the group specific substances found in the particular blood group persons. What are the medico-legal aspects of blood groups? The application of blood grouping to medico-legal problems is based on the following principles. Number one, a blood group antigen cannot appear in a child unless present in one or other parent. Medico-legal aspects. If a blood group antigen cannot appear in a child unless present in one or other child. Number two, if an individual is homozygous for a blood group factor, it must appear in the blood group of all children. What is homozygous? You are all well familiar with this homozygous. I need not tell, I think. If the genes contributed by each parent are same, the individual is called homozygous. If the genes contributed by each parent are the same, the individual is called homozygous. So, if an individual is homozygous for a blood group factor, it must appear in the blood group of all children. These are the medico-legal aspects of blood groups. Can you understand this? If a blood group antigen cannot appear in a child unless it is present in either mother or father. If the individual is homozygous for a blood group, that means he has contributed the same genes, blood groups, factor. It must appear one of the children. Otherwise, it will be a disputed paternity or maternity. If a child is homozygous for a blood group factor, the gene for the same must have been inherited from each of its parents. Otherwise, it will be a dispute. The blood group characters are peculiar to the individual and unchanged throughout their life. So, these are the medico-legal aspects of blood groups. And what are the these are the medico-legal aspects and blood groups and heredity. Bernstein postulated the mode of inheritance of this rules of inheritance of ABO system. And after studying these medico-legal aspects of blood groups, then you should exclude the paternity. That means pitrutvalane manam exclude cheyali. That means if a father is alleged to be the father of the child by a mother, then the case should be filed in court and it should be exclude or it should be proved as father, alleged father. So these are first order exclusion and second order exclusion. First order exclusion is where the child has a blood group gene that is absent in both the mother and the putative father. Putative father means supposed father or suggestive, sambhavinchaboye father. The first order exclusion, the child should be the blood group of the mother and the father. The second order exclusion, where the father is homozygous for a blood group gene, but the gene is not present in the child. So, in both of these cases, the disputes will arise. What are the rules for blood groups and heredity? Bernstein postulated these groups. The rules of inheritance of ABO system are: number one, agglutinogen A and B cannot appear in the child unless it is present in one or both parents. Number two, agglutinogen A1 or A2 cannot appear in the blood of the child unless it is present in one or both parents. The combination of A1B parent with A2 child and vice versa cannot occur. Conversely, the combination of A2B parent with A1 child and vice versa cannot occur. An O parent cannot have an AB child and AB parent cannot have O child. And parents of AO and AO genotype may have OO child. And parents of AA or AO genotype may have a child. You can understand this. If you read the textbook, you can understand easily. Agglutinogens A and B cannot appear in the child unless it is present in the one of the both the parents. Like that. The rules of inheritance of MN system also same. Number one, agglutinogens M and M cannot appear in the blood of a child unless present in one or both parents. The type M parent cannot produce type M child, and conversely, N parent cannot produce M child. And in matings where both parents are homozygous, type M and N children are always of the same type as the parents. In matings where one parent is type M and other type N, the children are type Mn. In matings where one parent is homozygous M or N and the other heterozygous Mn, the children are of parental types 50:50 ratio. Like that, the rules of inheritance. These inheritance is Mendelian principles, based on the Mendelian principles. The rules of inheritance of RH group. RH negative parents cannot produce RH positive children, and RH positive and mixed parents can have RH positive and RH negative children. This is very, very important. Can you understand? RH negative parents cannot produce RH positive children, and RH positive and RH mixed parents can have RH positive and RH negative children. Blood groups in tissues. Blood groups also present in various tissues of the body, in bone and dental tissue, hair, nails, soft tissues can also have the blood groups. White cell, next is the white cell antigens. The human leukocyte antigen, HLA system, consists of protein substances on the surface of the leukocytes. These are also present on tumors also. Present white cell antigens. These white cell antigens are HLA, A, B, C, D, and D, R. These also can be studied. Serum protein polymorphism, and also the method of this red cell, this isoenzyme methods, serum protein polymorphism. I told you in the beginning, the blood group systems currently in use are red cell antigens, white cell antigens, and serum protein polymorphism and red cell enzyme polymorphism. Number 3 is serum protein polymorphism. Also, these are contains the serum protein groups. These are HP, GC type. This is for the hearing purpose only. I am telling for your familiarity into the subject, but these should not be come in your examination. As a academic interest, you can read in your textbook. Serum haptoglobins, GC groups, AG groups, GM blood groups, and abnormal hemoglobins can also be studied. Then red cell enzyme polymorphism, or more than 160 antigens, 150 serum proteins, and 250 cellular enzymes have been found in human blood. These red cell enzyme polymorphism. What is the medico-legal application of blood groups? Medico-legal application of blood groups. I told you all this. So medical legal application of blood groups are disputed paternity. Number 1 is disputed paternity. The question of disputed paternity arises in the court in the following condition. When a child is born in a lawful marriage, but the husband denies that he is not the father of that child. The both wife and husband legally married, they had child, but father denies that the child is not the product of him. Like that. Then the paternity dispute will arise. Number B. Number 2, when a child is born out of lawful marriage, that means the marriage is not legal, and the mother accuses a certain man is being the father of the child. That means illegitimate child, and the mother alleges that shows some person, and he is the cause of the birth of this child. But the man denies. In this condition also, the paternity disputes will arise. When a woman retains pregnancy and delivery and obtain, that means I told you in the abortion and delivery case chapter, I told you, woman pretends or feigns pregnancy and delivered and obtain a share in husband's property. In suits of nullity of marriages, these paternity disputes will arise. And in suits and nullity of marriage and disputed maternity. That means when some same child is claimed by two parents, two mothers. When the same child is claimed by two women, or when two children are interchanged either by accident or design in maternity homes or hospitals. The accidental exchange of childs or wantonly exchange of childs in maternity wards. In those conditions, disputed maternity dispute will be appears. Who is the mother of this child? In case of supposed child, a woman kidnapping a child, the woman will not carry pregnancy and she will not deliver, she would not deliver, but she obtained a child from anywhere or from her neighbor and produce that this child is the result of his birth, her pregnancy, and claiming to be the mother of that child. This is, I told you, in supposititious child chapter in pregnancy, delivery, and in that chapter I told this. So supposititious child and woman, when a woman kidnapping a child and claiming to be the mother of that child, blood grouping tests are helpful in this case. So disputed maternity can also be arise in those conditions. Crimes, blood stain found on the clothing of the accused, but the victim also have the same blood group. The test is not conclusive. If the blood group contains same blood group of the victim and the accused, then other tests will conclude the whether the accused or victim, who is the accused. Other tests like electrophoresis methods. I told you all this. I told you previous tests. Stains due to body fluids. Semen, sweat, saliva, nasal secretion, urine, feces in person who are secretors. This may be corroborative evidence. This is all the medical legal application of the stains of blood and other body fluids. Specificity of the various blood groups. That means identification. Various blood group containing is like that of the fingerprints. Various blood groups are having the same specific identity like fingerprints. Then you can identify the person. Incompatible blood transfusion and poison can be detected, and this could be the cause of the death of that person. Like that, the application of these medical legal application can be studied by these blood groups and other body fluids and stains. Hazards of blood transfusion. What are the hazards? If a blood is transfused from donated blood transfused, there are hazards. That means some anaphylactic reactions and complications will arise due to blood transfusion. What are those complications? Immunological reactions. Those are intravascular hemolysis, extravascular hemolysis, and sensitivity to white cells, platelets, and plasma components. Non-immunological reactions are circulatory overload, coagulation defects, hyperkalemia, citrate toxicity, infections, and transmissions of syphilis, hepatitis, and all viral infections should be transmitted from the donors to the recipient. So these are the hazards of blood transfusions and how to investigate the late So hazards of blood transfusion are two types. That means complications of the blood transfusion from the donor's blood to the recipient. What are the complications of recipient person? Immunological reactions and non-immunological reactions. Immunological reactions are intravascular hemolysis. That means the blood cells hemolyze intravascularly and also extravascularly, and sensitivity white cells. That means anaphylactic reactions and platelets and plasma components. Non-immunological reactions are circulatory overload, and if the blood transfused more speed in ICU, then the overload, the cardiac overload will be developed, and may the patient may land in cardiac failure. And also coagulatory defects, hyperkalemia may be developed, and toxicity of the citric acid and citrate toxicity, that means lactic acidosis may develop, and infections of the donated blood. What are those infections? Are viral infections, bacterial infections, malarial infections can be transmitted through blood transfusion, and syphilis, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, all AIDS, all those can be transmitted through the donor's blood. So you can very careful by donating blood or transfusing the blood in ICU. So next class I will tell you DNA fingerprinting and artifacts. This is very interesting and very important. DNA fingerprinting is very determinant to identify the accused or suspect. Alec Jeffrey in 1985 developed DNA fingerprinting. I will deal you in next class. Come on.